It was. Oh. By the way, it's 6 o'clock, or it is.
Yes.
I got a ping.
Ready checking.
Even for AV, it's like, hey, we really need this one explanation. I'm gonna throw that in there and let's go.
Okay, password 0420. Got 3 spots. We'll give it a couple minutes. If you're full already, by
Yep.
all means, you can go in.
Thank
Actually, let's
God.
do it that way. If you're full, go ahead in. The party
Yes.
finders that are still waiting for a member or two, give it a couple minutes. But if you get sick of it, you can be like, I'm going to find somebody in instance, and then you can take your party in. Because no one likes waiting outside in PF. But make sure you're in Kugane before Dad yells at you. Or it's at the crafter. I don't know. Let's see.
Breathtaking.
Be done in a minute.
It is crafting. I didn't know crafting could stop you from queuing.
Yep. Well, it's probably because I'm on a crafter. So it won't let us in. Let me switch
For
to an
party chat,
actual battle
no,
job.
I haven't really been a row the entire time. But the only time I wasn't was like 5 years ago. I used to be a red and black haired hume, medium size, playing ninja or warrior. And then people started calling me BA Dad, and then suddenly a short Midlander wasn't big enough character for that kind of title. But everyone that makes their way in, you got the Logos Manipulator. You can talk to the Expedition Scholar if you're brand new. If you can see a menu that talks about etheric stabilizers, you don't need to buy one. But seeing that menu means that you've done all the prerequisites to go into BA. Just a simple check. We don't actually use the stabilizers for much, but that is one good thing that they're good for. If you're better at looking visually as well, I know Jarek's in this instance, and I saw from the corner of my eye things being posted. There will be things posted in the chat to also help you along if you need to double back on anything said. But you want to make sure you make some plates now. You don't pop anything quite yet. When you're in BA, the only way that you bounce if you die is if you have a Remembered. Remembered gives you a 70% chance to proc upon death. If that doesn't bounce during BA, the only other way to get you up is a healer limit break 3, which rarely we ever see. Or a healer uses something called a sacrifice plate. It brings you back up. It's a force res. It doesn't give you a choice, but it dooms the healer. Then they need to hope they're remembered proc. If it does, hooray! Everything goes on. Make sure you reapply remembereds and make sure you use offensive wisdoms. Healer or sacrifices aren't required plates by healers. Some of them do bring them if they can make them, or some of them, healers, being them, will be addicts and bring so many sack plates that they hope people fall over so they can use them.
I've got to
But
change my.
the problem
match
with that is some healers are bringing refresh, which you want to have refresh at all times. It gives you more Magia spins, which will explain why it's a good thing later. But if people keep dying and healers pop plates, they'll lose the access to refresh, and you lose access to those spins.
Did you get a third MT?
I was making my 2 tanks in my party, just kind of wing it.
I'll go take the last one then.
Okay. Ren, you gotta understand, like, I mean, I talk even in party chat, but, like, I wasn't joking. I was gonna make you take hits. Spirits knows what he's getting into. I mean, you got Fafa on heals over here, and you got me with shields. I mean, I'm gonna make you probably pull trash, too. But, going back on that, to be especially helpful for tanks included, There's something called /Magia Auto. If you type this out and hit enter, your Magia wheel suddenly has a little sword on it. Now, whatever mob you target, you're going to switch to the offensive spec, i.e., the highest number is going to go to the offense of whatever you fight. And if you type it out a second time, it'll change it into defense. And it'll switch to the highest allotted Magia to the defense of whatever you're fighting. It's a great little macro, and it allows you to automatically switch to what you're fighting and do optimum damage or optimum defense. What I think I saw Jarek post right now is just kind of our allotment of Magia if you're brand new to this. Tanks, you can easily just go 5 into 1, and if you're tanking, be in Magia defense, and if you're doing damage, be in Magia offense. Just making sure. I hate this. I hate that Discord gives me a gray screen every once in a while. They need to fix it.
Oh,
Now
it's
that we
doing
rambled
that for
on
you
about
too?
Magia, what was that?
It's doing that for you too? I thought I was the only one.
There's a couple of them, and with somebody with OCD, when something flashes and becomes just one color in the corner of your eye, it causes you issues. But now that you know why Magia Auto is so important, and now why Refresh is so important, next to that Magia Mill, there's a Provisioner, and they sell Eureka potions. Put them on your hotbar. You've got level 80 and 90 abilities that you can't use here. These Eureka potions are absolutely amazing, and they can, and if your healer fall over, are great replacements for your healer. It's like a 60-second pot that lasts 48 seconds, and you can quite literally chug them all day during BA. We got about 10 minutes until Avni should pop.
Sorry to interrupt. For the Magicite board, do you have any recommendations of what they should be spec'd into? For instance, I have 6 of them, so I didn't know if it's best to put
With
4
6?
into.
With 6, I mean, it's more or less just put 5 into offense or water and 1 into earth.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Those 6th and 7th Magias just allow you to be a little bit more reckless.
Okay.
Technically speaking, like, the reason we have 4 and 1 is just for brand new people. But if you treat this as actual, really serious content, and you use mitigation correctly, there's no reason that you couldn't do your first run in full offense. You just have to be mindful that people need to do the correct things, like feints here, reprisals there. But that 1 in defense just is like, okay, somebody forgot to do something, but it's not all over.
Thank you.
So you said 5 into water offense and 1 in defense?
Yeah,
Earth.
essentially when we say offense, we set it up for the very first mob that you fight, which is a demon wall, and it's earth elemental. So, opposite of earth is water, so you put 5 into water, and you put 2 into earth, depending on what you're doing. I set it for 7 because long ago I just spent money and bought everything because it never drops. Also, there are fairies being marked and shouted out. Just be mindful of them. We're going to go to one of those after Avni dies to get a buff that lets us deal more damage and see less of the mobs because they die so fast.
People are still at the base camp.
I found all the fairies posted for map and BA chat.
Perfect, thank you. So wait, I gotta look back because my screen was blank. Who said they were gonna be the next main tank?
Audrey.
Audrey, what group were you in?
4, 5? I don't know.
4, 5. Okay, but I'm gonna force you to split from your party. You still have to tank Art, even though your party's going opposite of you.
Okay, we're in 4, but yeah, I can go wherever.
Why swap parties when you can just steal a tank? For anyone that's just kind of chilling at this meantime, if you move your character right now, Omni should pop before you can get kicked out. So you can dodge that AFK kick mechanic at 10 minutes. What do you mean, Spirits? I thought you were on another run.
Shit, we closed the mouth.
Regardless, a fun run is what's intended.
I probably have to set it up on the tripod. It thinks I'm angry again. Yeah, Bramble wants to be angry.
Only 37 fragments short of getting what you need? I wish I could give you my 28,000.
Dear Lord.
For anyone new, for some reason I started collecting Eureka fragments. I've never thrown them away. And I've done BA a long time. Look, the real reason you hold on to them is when you think back to each stack that you get, they're like mini time capsules of BA. And when you think about it that way, you're like, oh crap, that's pretty cool. And so, I've never stopped collecting them. You could say they're the fragments of our history.
Oh. I died a little.
The Eureka fragments.
Really have to set this up on the tripod.
And then we all have the new forays to come in, which hopefully they take more of BA than they did of Boja. So how many of you actually jumped onto this run because you don't have to go to work tomorrow?
Me.
Me.
Anybody remember how to fix it to where your map? I have it where my map disappears when I'm in an engagement, so I can't see my big map. How do I turn that off?
You want the map to turn off?
No, I want it on so I can see where I'm going right now.
What are you
There's
on?
a little lock icon when you have the big map open. I think that might, like, if you on the left side with all the icons, there's a little lock one.
On a controller, I hit square, and then once I move my character, the screen stays there. Soon, 3 minutes.
Huzzah. No, not angry.
Oh look, a wild Kimiko appeared.
the heck?
Got spotted.
We'll have to wait till we get in. I believe all parties might be full, but if you see that yell and you have a spot, be like, oh. And if you're support and you think you're full and you're only actually like 5 or 6 people, you can go up to, as long as you got an extra open spot there, you're good. Make sure it's 7 of 8, just in case. We all talked about the Expedition Scholar and making sure that we got our buffs, and everyone is actually level 60 today and not 59. Sorry, Motion, I'm looking at you.
Okay.
You better not be 59. Because 59 means you get to go to support. And for anyone else wondering, any extra information about this is, if you get level 60 on Avni, you can't get the buff. You have to be level 60 when Avni dies, and then get the buff that way. Now, if I remember right, this instance is super old to the point that they let 3 Avnis despawn, then killed the last one because we asked them to, and then we're hoping this 5th Avni will spawn. So, Spaghetti Code be with us. Yeah, apparently I overheard Avni did something to the instance and they weren't going to have it and ignored Avni. My guess is Dispel shenanigans. Now, even though we said 6:18, should be an exact timer, which we don't know which second in 18 it is, but Avni should hopefully pop any moment. And as each second ticks on, the host, any host, is always being like, please don't be this. Please don't be this. Was it 6:18, 80, or 54? Uh-oh. Did somebody enter the instance and nobody noticed? The only thing we can do is give it a minute or two.
Yeah, someone just entered right now, so...
People still join the instance, so it is not a locked instance. Wait, am I trolling everyone? When did Avni die? We said 48? Yeah, that's right. 48.
Ah, there we
Ah.
go.
Look at that troll Ovni. Make your way back to Ovni. Apparently, we were just a couple minutes off, but Ovni showing up still is enough.
And then it
That being
instantly
said-
despawns.
Yeah. That being said, a lot of you want to hit... we got tanks, hold it. Everyone else, make sure you get hate. Take your time, you don't need to rush this. Just do mechanics, dodge orange, because that's what you're going to be doing in BA too. So when you see these mechanics, dodge them, and if you're wondering why the tanks are getting hit by them, it's because they're doing silly shenanigans with them. Ideally, someone brought Dispel for this. If not, tanks, be mindful. It's Dispel. If you're outside the hitbox, you get pulled in, and then you gotta run in or out. In. If not, you're gonna get hurt. We dodge more orange while the tanks get hit by more orange, and the healers get the people up. Once we get down to 60%, Ion Shower will be the priority mechanic coming out. Take it under the boss if you can. If you can't, just clear away from everybody. Tanks, look, there's an Ion Shower. Run after it. Everyone else, get away from it. Tanks are going to be using their invulns to get 3 free stacks of Indom off this. And then we're going to dodge more orange. Thank you, Papa. I'm scared. Little
Nice
bit of
dodge,
AoE
Mark.
damage. There's going to be another Ion Shower very shortly. After this Fluorescence, to be exactly. That's how it jams itself up. So, Ion Shower into the boss.
Oh, there it is.
There's an Ion Shower to the north. Those tanks will be using a lot more mitigation in order to take more stack. I haven't seen anyone use a tank in.
Oh!
And we dodge more orange. The
What
boss rolls
happened?
over, and everyone ideally got in their hit. Make sure everyone in your party gets gold. Then put out the portal macros, and we're gonna make our way over to one of the ferries. We don't want to take the ferry right away because that buff lasts 60 minutes, and we can't enter BA until the buff we just got gets down to 4. So there's a lot of sit back and chill time before you go to your portals.
3.
With that, party leaders putting out their portal macros now. As I say this, I'm trying to find out where mine is.
Where's our macro? Oh, thank you.
And if you're wondering where's my portal, when's this happen? The blue portals will show up in a couple more minutes. The number that you've been given in the party leader's macro designates you a portal in your party's column. If you look to the Baldessian Arsenal chat now, I'm pretty sure Jarek or one of the other vets has already done it. There's a map dividing Hideouts into 6 columns, and each column has 8 portals. So, your group number is which column you take, and the number portal is the portal you take in your column. With that being said, ferries are not always in guaranteed locations, and it can be very hard to get to certain ferries and then get to your portals. So if you haven't used Return, congratulations. You can get this buff at 5 or 6 minutes. Use Return, use that Ether network, and get close to your portals, unless you're Group 1, Leader 1. Sorry, Jarek. Biggest reason we just kind of wait as a group for this buff is the fairs have limited charges. Again, people get it first, but the biggest thing we want to avoid is super chaining them. Oh yeah, I forgot. Group 1 has a really good portal. You can take Portal 5, I think, puts you right next to the Ether network. It's either that or 2. If there is one person in Shout, they were mentioning it. Where are they? There's someone that was originally going to be in Group 4. If support has room after we get in, pick them up.
Yeah. Is there anybody who didn't get a buff who also needs to be in support or no?
Oh, I have no idea. It doesn't sound like it. Why? I feel silly, but I'm down at the South Ferry when there's literally a ferry at my portal.
That's very silly.
But ideally, we'll get support filled up. Again, once we get everybody in, we see what the damage is of people getting in and whatnot, not having buffs and whatnot. We can fill up support with the people who didn't get in, and then the people
Hey.
that were... Yeah.
Black Rose Nameless was
Sorry,
in
real
4.
quick. I feel really bad for the Lalafell that didn't get into group 4 because they've been saying it in chat. I'll give up my spot for them.
If you want to, by all means. I mean, there's
I
nothing...
tried to invite them to support, and they were already in a party, so I think they did get in.
Are you sure?
You talking about that K person?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna cry. I felt so bad.
No. I think they got in.
Oh,
Okay.
don't cry. But
No,
don't
I felt
bring it-
Lalafell's.
bring it up, though.
Like I said, some people would be like, they didn't show up on time. That we'll make sure we do what we can. And
Yeah,
again, there's a lot of times that I do the same thing. Like,
Oh, good. They made it to group 4. It looks like yay.
Okay.
there's a lot of times I do the same thing. Like, I'll see a run that's full or almost full. And it's like, I could jump in, but why not give other people? I've cleared this like 950 times. What's missing one run? Although I have been surpassed. I blame efficiency.
South Ferry's dying.
So we're kind of standing around these blue portals, or making our way to them at the moment. Again, blue portals just kind of act as way markers for where your reds will spawn general about. Once your red spawns, try to jump into it immediately. Going into your portal immediately will also ensure that our Baldessian Arsenal timers are very close to being in sync for any countdowns. And leaders, please make sure people are in the correct spots. And in my case, Fafa, please double check because limitations of keyboard or PS5 limitations. That's the word.
We're looking good. I think last person's heading to their portal.
I will tell you now, if you're not doing indom and stuff, if you pop 2 foods right now, it should last the entirety of the run. And then you don't have to worry about popping food at all.
Yay, food. What time on the buff do the portals change color?
When they tick to 3.
Oh, okay, thanks. So under a minute till the reds.
The other good thing about BA, you can use your unwanted pots here for giggles. Because there are logs
I
at the
took
end of the
them
day. They
all
don't
out.
get saved, but
I
you
took
get to
out
live
all my
fragment in history of
dexterities.
BA.
I feel bad. They're at the retainers.
Mine was being a gunbreaker with 9,000 DPS before the stat squish. And take your red portals.
Oh, there's so many frogs in the way. Move, frogs.
Time to become protection.
Once you go in, make sure you pop your remembered, then the plates that you plan on using for the run. Stand on the sides of the bridge to get protecting shell and don't drop down until you know exactly where you're dropping down because it is a one-way drop. If you're wondering, I just need to make this bravery play quickly. There we go. Once you get your protecting shell, the way we're going to divide this up is this run is pretty much full. So, groups 1, 2, and 3, you'll be going to the west side, or if you look over the archway, it's the white banner. If you're 4, 5, and 6, you're going to go to the east side or the purple banner. Other than group 4's tank, I'm stealing you.
Wait, where am I going?
You're coming over to art side.
Alright.
Again, protect shell's good, food. Once you know the side you're dropping down, you've remade some plates. Your tanks will be refreshing on this indom wall. Ideally, it looks like there's going to be 1 indomer on art side and 2 on away. Why are you hiding? Just use your mitigation.
Kill it. Does anyone else need it? Just me?
Yeah, but you got to keep hate on.
Well, go for it.
Art side, just Make the wall go away. Yes, Magi Auto. We talked about that 10 minutes ago when a lot of people may have forgotten about it. Turn Magi Auto on. This includes myself. Once this demon wall dies on both sides, keep an eye on the tank that's pulling. They'll be pulling all the mobs. Let the tank pull first. And then... Off to save him. Again, dodge the AoEs the mobs will use. Sleep the frog. If it casts Toy Hammer, it'll do it after an AoE attack. And then dodge orange.
Somebody else have stance on?
Oh. And then once you kill those mobs, you will have Biblios. Tanks will pull them into the corners because they cleave the main tank. They'll always be on the sides. When it turns to cast Magic Hammer, stun it. Sleep it.
Yep.
Anything. Don't let it go off. But it's going to cleave the main tank right after it wakes up. So interrupt. Tank cleaves. Spirits. You're going to be spirits without. All good. And then we just do the same thing. We stun, sleep the Biblio. And then we step forward to the next arena. Leaves the main tank. And then we walk up. Cool thing is, they stay as spears until the first person on either side walks across. Which means if you're up here and there's a spear, and then it changes, you got there first. Away inside, you more or less had the same thing, just Maguses and their circle AoEs. Audrey is in group 4.
Kotone, wherever they're at, they're in play bear. They're fine.
You know, technically they're not fine. They could still get thrice times coal in this side.
True, but they don't need heals with play bear.
That being said, how's Owain's side, and is there anyone that wants to take calls on that side? Perfect. With that being said, step across the arena if you're ready. Actually, no, we'll just pull at 1900. Ready or not, here it comes. Element check.
There we go.
Limit breaks out. Main tanks. Establish hate.
Nope.
First thing is a tank buster on both sides. After that, the fight deviates a little bit. Art, get ready for your cardio. This is the tank buster first.
If you're not main tank, I would turn your stance off.
Don't worry, you're crazy. You want to get in and then out. And after you're out, everyone collapse back on the boss because it's going to be a raid wide for Art's side. Art, switch to Magi of Defense. These spears mimic Art's next attack, so first see what the boss does. Away from the boss and away from spears. Intercardinals of the arena. In for it, no. Raid wide. Tank buster. Art, we know this is a donut to get to the outside of the arena behind a spear. Outside of the arena, behind a spear. We're cheesing this, we don't need to deal damage. You're gonna hug the spear after this. Hug spears. Get out of the orange, and then stop moving. Sprint if you get slowed from this, and dodge the blue lines originating from that marker. Never mind, that mechanic doesn't exist today. After the second flight of stairs, there is a trap. Keep in mind there's only one preceptor.
I will be over there in a second.
Audrey, you can just take it. I have the next. You have the thing on it. As long as one's up, we're good. And we're gonna kill that wall pretty quickly. Keep an eye on Audrey on our side. I'm bad at healing people outside my party, but sprites will try to cast Banish 3. You interject them. Ghosts are fire elements, so they just hit really hard. That Centaur needs to be slept when it casts Berserk. That Calcabrina needs to be slept when it casts Terrifying Glance. It's in the center arena. For a lot of you, that's terrifying, but as long as you sleep it, nothing's terrifying. Even the glance. See? Slept. Now you just gotta prepare for the double raid wide, because Calc was mad because you didn't let glance go off. See?
Grab me another centaur.
Another centaur means another sleep unless you're keeping an eye on the tanks and you want them to take berserk damage to refresh their Indom stack. But that took too long to say, so it already got slipped. And at the back of the arena, after you dodge these traps, there's your treasure chest. It is individual loot, so make sure you grab it, finish off the mobs, and we'll make our way up to Raiden. As any tanks that need to will go over to take the last trap. I believe that means Owain's side's trap is available. Art's was taken. You know what? I'm feeling spicy today. The only way markers that you need is A to the north and C to the south.
Oh, apparently Owain's have already been taken too.
Don't worry, we'll kill this fast enough that you can get the next trap. Get in the arena, A to the north, C to the south. Where's B and D? I don't know. Not on this arena floor.
Art side, make sure you're back in Magia offense. You should be in Earth for offense.
Yes. Good call. I hate when I realize that at art. Like I've done this entire thing in defense instead of offense. Start throwing braveries out.
How do you do that?
Hey Fafa, can you throw me a way marker to the A to the north and C to the south? For some reason, we're gonna use.
How do you do that? How do you change it from offense to defense?
Oh, the Magia auto macro. If you keep clicking it, it toggles between offense, defense, and off.
Yeah, really helpful. But again, if you change it for like a boss to take little damage, remembering to turn it the other way, just is a pain. With that being said, we're just gonna pull it 33-30. Nice little 35-second countdown. I know there's a little bit of double edges out there. There's some bravery being passed out a little bit too. As long as I can do it while looking at the countdown. The boss is gonna be pulled to the west. Formerly known as the B-Way marker.
10 seconds.
No, go west.
East. Pull the boss to the east. Or the west. First thing's a magical raid wide. Shield up. Ranged. Once you're healed up, you're going to go towards the west within attacking range. Melee, you're going to sit over here. Again, just a raid wide going, or not a raid wide, a tank buster. And then some purple electricity around the outside of the arena. For anyone just hitting buttons right now next to the boss, your biggest thing to see is the next cast bar. It's called Amino Sakahoko, and it means run to the range because they're in the safe. So also is known as Amino. Well, actually, wait. Amino, get the fuck out and go to the range. That was my old call when I didn't know how to call it because I didn't know how to speak that language. And under the boss. If you're not under the boss, you're gonna regret it. Under the boss. Bahamut, no. Again, stand in the middle of the arena. You're gonna look east and west. You're gonna look for Raiden. You're gonna sprint and you're gonna run to A. A side of the arena. This is the lateral Sentensuken. And then the boss is going to reappear into the middle of the arena. How dare you battle sack before I could? Not allowed. Raid wide. Support 15 minutes. The boss is going to do Lancing Bolts. You'll spread these Lancing Bolts out, then ignore them, and collapse back in on the boss and murder it. Spread these out, no Venn diagrams. After that, go back in, beat up the boss. Oh no, where'd the boss go? The streak lightnings don't matter. If the boss dies, the lightnings disappear too. It's like skipping Soar. And then you're going to grab your chest, make your way to the next set of mobs, which is probably going to be quickly pulled. Ideally, we have that person that's thrown paralyzed using it. And we just want to make sure that mobs don't use big attacks. Wind mobs are considered trash mobs. There's just 5 or 6 of them in here. The Biblios, they can do a big point blank or a donut. It can be slept, it can be paralyzed. And oh look, a Brina. How terrifying. Again, like a healer, I'll target this Cacabrina just in case paralyzed doesn't affect. And then the only real big thing of threat is that double raid wide, which doesn't exist, and then the Biblio may be getting something off, but DPS is high. Meaning, our tanks should be sprinting to the trap that they want to take because they weren't able to take the trap earlier, and hopefully they didn't lose their stack before Carlana percepts it. But there's a trap in front of this treasure chest. Don't get hit by it. But you can grab the treasure chest and go around it. Give it a wide berth. There may be a tank coming in to take that trap. It is an AoE. But if you're on the right side of the chest, you're more or less fine. Does anyone else need to take it? I think Audrey...
We're both at
was able to
8-9, so we're fine, yeah.
Again, we got sprites. Anything that comes into the hallways gets pulled and gets murdered. I do not allow things to... Nope, no sleep don't work. Pull them out. They attacked my Preceptor. I don't get no mercy for the people that are after my Scepters. Anything gets pulled out of the rooms, that gets murdered, but we're going to clear the hallway. We're going to make sure those sprites do not use Banish 2 or Banish 3. Both of them are bad.
The portal's in ice.
Perfect.
Didn't see the coffer anywhere though.
Again, more mobs are coming in. More sprites need to be divvied up to make sure people are on them, to make sure bad things don't happen. Oh my gosh, a Banish. Ooh,
That's water. Why am I pulling water?
Because it's just natural. We're going with the flow. You want to pull more mobs and they want to fall over, by all means do it. These are cones and uninterruptible cones unless you have paralyze. So make sure to dodge more orange. Remember your Omni training. These are just smaller versions of Torrential Torrent. And as these die, we said the treasure chest was in ice. The portal we may not know, or just found the portal. Offers
No,
in
that was the water.
Support. Well, this raid's full, so we don't need to go after the treasure chest first. So we'll go to the ice room to go through the portal. You don't have to go right through the portal. You can actually graze it, and it'll take you through. You turn to the right, you grab a treasure chest, you walk down the hall, and then we get to go murder some more mobs. By the way, this is the worst treasure chest to forget, because not only do you have to take the portal, you have to do the entire walk of shame that we're doing currently right now, while everyone else gets to sit there and wait for support. Again, ghost hit hard. Make sure you got a tank. Ren, you madman, I got you. You know, most people would say let the main tanks do it, but I'm advocate of as long as you have your tank stance on, you know what you're doing, you have an invuln. You know how you can stay alive for at least 10 seconds. And that's just enough time to type out, healer, save me.
Ah. It aggroed me.
Because
of the threat.
For anyone who doesn't play healer, healers get really bored.
We really
There's
don't.
a reason they try to bring sacrifices now. It's not a fact of just getting you up during random stuff. They want to purposely get you up during a boss fight because of the dopamine hit you get from doing it, especially when you bounce too. Lastly, we've got 2 ghosts here. Again, technically we don't have to kill them, but more mobs. I like hitting buttons. With this, we do have full rooms. We have tanks in every party at the very least. So it's a nice simple divide, and each one of these rooms is a trap. The Preceptor's already probably Precepted them, or in the midst of Precepting them. Indom tanks, if you want to take your trap to refresh your stacks, by all means. Tanks, if you want to just get rid of the trap because you're afraid of it, you can do that. But I personally, as long as it's not in a horrible position, like holding on to my invuln just in case the mobs hit you a little too hard. But since we have 6 parties on the north side from left to right, we have groups 1, 2, and 3. On the south side from left to right, we have 4, 5, and 6.
Everyone good on tanks, or?
Yeah.
Alright.
I think there's a couple tanks that are shocked that I said you don't have to take the trap. Do not cover the warrior taking the trap, spirits. It is a trap. You will fall over dead and you will regret it. I have seen this throughout history 4 different times. We do not need to repeat it a 5th time.
Yeah, but it was funny.
Ah, yes.
I like that one time we did it to Forge.
When Percy baited.
So once your tank's ready, they'll throw tank stance on and make sure it is on. And then once all 6 tanks are in the portal in their room, they'll hopefully tank the things without dying. Fafa, our tank wants to get hurt. Pull your mobs. Some are stunnable, some are sleepable. Make sure your tank stance is on once again. Don't let your party fall over. Dodge, dip, duck, dive. And don't let my double-edging main tank in my room die. Got it. Good job. Now take the double edge off. I want to stop healing you. We were first. This is what happens when you host too many BA runs. More sass and less quiet time. Again, originally, fort rooms used to be a race. Who could get out first? Then people found ways of cheating, i.e. death. And instead of using death during the trash mobs, which would be the most optimum, they decided to use it to rig a race. But now we have a long walk back up to the AV hallway. We'll clear out some more mobs that have spawned, and then we wait for the chat command saying that support has been defeated. Once we see that, we know support will make their way in 7 minutes. Oh, and going back to the beginning of the run about the whole etheric stabilizer thing. If you're in support, you can use stabilizers. You only get 8 portals out of 48 available spots, and then they get randomized when they turn red. Etheric stabilizers are usable in support. But with that, we got more mobs to kill. Hopefully there's Dispel out there. If not, it's gonna be an ugly one. By the way, if you're a tank and you don't want to go on a different class to bring Feint or Dispel to Avni, I am an advocate of being chaotic good and bringing a Guardian raise plate and being full defensive. So you watch everyone else die, but you're able to get them back up so they can think about the problems that they made. So dodge orange, paralyzes not out. Oh no, that mob just can't be paralyzed. That's what it is.
What, Crystal? You don't have Echo Drops on you?
Oh, Crystal silence. Shh, leave it that way. 6:57 is when support can make their way in, and you're like, why 7 minutes? When you do the support fate, you get the same buff you got from Avni, and they got to do the whole thing all over again. With that, I've only got about 30 more seconds to let you know about things, and then you got a potty break. If you stand on the sides of the bridge, shells should be being passed out within the next 5 or 6 minutes. If you get it, just go beyond the 2 pillars. That way the person passing it knows that you already have it, and they don't have to tab through 500 million people. Essentially, as long as you're back before 10 minutes, bathroom break, go grab a drink. BA has a built-in bathroom break, essentially.
Tanks are holding the wind mobs if you want to go get your chest.
Oh, that's right, too. Don't worry, we can, there's a chest in wind room. We'll do it again before support gets in, and make sure people can get it. And if you're wondering, just don't target these Skatines, it's fine. The tanks are holding them because they use them as a resource rather than a mob. They can use them to recover their indom stacks. But they're going to hold them to the side. You just walk in, you walk out. Whoever's keeping the tanks alive, if it's just themselves, they'll do the same. And then we all get out of there. Again, we'll do this again. Maybe we just do it after AV. Make it weird and different. Regardless. Sides of the bridge after you get your treasure chest, get protector shell. Well, shell only, and then go beyond the 2 pillars. That way, no billion tabs. If there's someone asleep, if someone's close by, throw a cure, wake them up.
Wish there was a shell too I could just hit everybody with.
So if you're wondering, with the auto attacks of a Skatine, if you're geared correctly, and by geared I mean have no gear on, when you're using Indom you can get a refresh off the Skatine's auto attack. So not only are the Skatines pulled for the sake of the tanks getting their Indom stacks, if you're just need to be in combat as a white mage to get lilies or something, or you can also build a bit of gauge off of them. And then for the complete degenerate, if you have G-pose and all those fun things and all that, you can actually do emotes in super slow motion when the Skatine puts you to sleep, and it's actually pretty cool. Like I said, especially if you got some of the statue emotes, try some of them during the sleep animation. It's pretty badass. So for anybody that is concerned about getting their treasure chest at Wind, I am going to make it a point for everyone to go back there after AV dies to get the chest. Not only that, that's where the Indom tanks live while we do explanations for Ozma. Just in case, because I am also the mind, like, I forgot it, but I can Metal Gear Solid my way through and just get it, and then you realize you made a mistake, and 2 more mobs linked to you than you realized, and you fall over. We have a death. I have an open sack plate. Get away. It's mine. Holy cannoli. It's unholy cannoli. I gotta do the walk of shame now. Because if I walk into this portal at 4 seconds, like right now, the doom applies during an invulnerability screen, goes off, and then I teleport to the other side and don't die. The only downside is I just used sprint, and I gotta walk all the way from support rooms all the way back. If only that ranged DPS followed me to give me Peloton. Don't do it, I'm only joking. It's too late. Also, there are some people probably getting Protect. If you get it, it's great, but there's nothing that does physical damage in this fight that the tanks aren't going to already be taking for you, so it's nice, but you're not needed. Now, the main tanks, the ones with lots of HP, they're the ones probably getting hit by the boss, and sometimes getting hit for no apparent reason. They're the ones I want Protect, because the boss's autos are a different story. And I don't have Discord up, but I assume since we're at the point to where red portals had just appeared, Jarek or another vet has already posted the one true mechanic of AV. There are more than one mechanic, but this is the most important one. It is Turbulent Ether. You'll see in the little clip that there is a person tethered to an orb. It's light or dark. In this case, I believe it's dark in that mechanic. Essentially what you do is you want to dodge a Medusa's Javelin, which is a gigantic cone, and then resolve in a puddle the opposite color. You do this all while not letting the orb hit you until you're in your puddle. When you're in the puddle, you'll let the orb hit you, and the puddle acts as a shield, vanishes, and you take little damage. One person per puddle. So check to see if you're tethered, bait out the Javelin, resolve in a mechanic or a puddle of the opposite color. That being said, last call for anyone wanting Skatine refreshes. And I'll have it for Ozma, but again, if you want Bravery, normally you'll stand on the right side or the left side of the arena if there's anyone passing it out, kind of like what we did with Shell. If you get it, go to the right side of the arena, that way they know you have it. And because yesterday didn't work so well because we had so many people that wanted it, I brought one of my own just in case. But I can leave this open. What?
I can answer tells, by the way. You know that. And yes, we did get it, but that said, we're gonna take it again after AV.
Yep. No treasure chest with a Eureka fragment left behind. It's right to be confused because we've never had to do this before. We're improvising. So once you get that Bravery, go over to the other side. Since we're already passing out Bravery, we went over Turbulent Ether. Let's just go 32 even. That gives everyone a good chance to get a Bravery on. The bigger, crazier DPS can get their stuff on. And if you're wondering why such a big, long countdown,
30?
there's a lot of...
32?
32 even. 30...
60...
Baldessian Arsenal timer. So you've got a minute.
62?
62?
I was going to say.
Stop it. Leave me
You
alone.
wanted
Oh,
A long time.
you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute.
Okay.
When the timer on your Conqueror of Baldessian Arsenal gets
God.
down to 62 even, we will be pulling. Why? Because there's tanks and double ledgers and memers doing crazy things. And it realizes that we do lots and lots of damage because...
I have 8 more refreshes. I'm gonna use this whole plate up. Yeah.
30 seconds starting now. Look, if we can get the 69 countdown on Ozma, we'll do it.
20 seconds.
We gotta get
Yeah, I kind of forced it. But we did it.
That's fine. That's where the fun happens. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Limit breaks. Loose. Main tanks. Establish hate. First thing you're going to see is Meteor. When you see the cast bar, addles, feints, reprisals, dismantles. I see a couple machines out here. There's the cast. Shields, heals, all that fun stuff. AV gets the bracelets, and these light puddles will appear on the floor. Get away from them as they double in size. There's always melee uptime. After this, get right back to the boss and dodge this javelin. Get up. Who said you could die this early? Next, get right behind the boss. AV gets another set of bracelets. This is going to be a half from divide. You're going to the dark side the moment it appears. Dark side the moment it appears. And right back. Calls without having to do mechanics. Avoid the tanks because of the tank busters. It's AoE. Damn it, I gotta work. Next set of bracelets is going to be puddles. There'll be 2 sets of puddles. We're going to get away from light and get close to dark. Away from light and close to dark. There's melee uptime right under our feet. Not that close, whoa. It's going to be a woeful move. And back to the boss. Random auto attacks until another meteor raid wide. Addles, feints, and reprisals. When you see it, another dismantle if you would as well, please. Next is going to be Turbulent Ether. You can spread out a little bit, see if you're tethered. You're going to wait for a javelin, wait for that cone. And now you go to a puddle of the opposite color. 1 person per puddle. Everyone else stack up behind the boss to avoid the tank buster. Then you're going to stack for the damage. And by damage, I mean the raid wide that's going out as I try to battle sack this people. Why can't I battle sack this? I think you got 1 more raid wide. I wasn't paying attention. Once this one goes off, you're going to stack center. And this is if you have a Eureka potion, once you stack center, you want to stay stack center. Hostor, someone save that Dark Knight. Tanks, everyone else stack in the middle and get ready to heal through a lot of damage. Get to the dark side of the arena. Get to the dark side again. They're all dark sides. And after this one, you're going to run away from the radial once this goes off. Run away from the radial. And then you run back to the boss, you dodge the javelin, you kill the boss, and then I try to get battle sacks because I can't. Yeah, grab that coffer and don't go north. We're gonna go east. We're going to a field trip to go see the owls at the zoo. And by that, I mean the tanks are gonna make sure that everyone gets the chest that...
Wait, doesn't it disappear?
No.
After AV?
No. That's just the portal.
Oh, okay.
The portal and traps before AV. So tanks will pull these over into a corner. Hopefully some healers that can actually target the tank getting hit.
Oh, there.
If this tank gets out of line, you have some permission to put 1 or 2 down. But you grab your chest and you make your way back to outside of AV's arena. There you go, Jarek. This is the way you do your new Ozma explanations. You don't get this chest purposely. You come back after AV to clear the room, and then you just sit down in here and have a powwow about Ozma. Yeah, Ozma.
That sounds like a lot of back and forth. That sounds like more work, so I will elect not to do that.
Oh, I shouldn't try to kill these Skatines. But after you got that, you're going to go up and you're going to look at the older owls, and then we got to make them disappear. Again, the majority of the tanks will get dragged behind by owls, but there should be one or two tank with some mine implants that'll pull a couple of owls. Ren, both your healers aren't there. Double edge is not a good idea. Ren, Nagasi, for anyone outside of my party that wants to make sure someone doesn't die. See, Fafa, that's all I did with BA is, instead of reprimanding and making people feel bad, I make it funny, but they're still gonna remember it.
Can't leave warriors alone for a minute where they're double edging again, huh?
It's almost like a double-edged sword having them around.
Double-edged axe, battle axe.
Yeah, but when it's on warriors, you'll be fine.
I hope so. He's the
No,
green,
Ren won't
the
be
green
fine
tank.
because I'm not fine and I'm a healer.
Ren's like a triple legend. They'll be fine.
I heard it's his first BA. Oh no, that was spirits. Never mind.
I mean, is this the Ren that I think it is, or is this another Ren? Because there's a Ren that I used to know.
A different Ren.
No, this is different. This is me and Kimmy's friend.
So we got plenty of time because our pull timer for this fight is going to be 69 even.
No,
With that
6
being
minutes.
said,
Nice.
drop down. You don't have to drop down right away, but I'm going to go over a couple things because I got about 5 minutes to spare. Those things are Black Hole. Again, Ozma casts this whenever he changes into a sphere. It's intended to suck you out and deposit you in hide autos. To prevent being sucked out, all turquoise buttons need to be covered by at least one person, and everyone needs to be on a button. Again, to ensure this happens, we ask healers in range to try to prioritize the button on the ring to the right, and tanks and melees prioritize the button on your platform. If you are slow to react and you don't think you can get to your button, as long as somebody is standing on it, get to the button closestly available to you. As long as there's at least one person, you're perfectly fine. Second mechanic is meteors. 2 large purple AoEs per platform that have specific locations that they need to be dropped off because they are radial. They become radial markers. You'll see waymarker 1 and 2. 1 is located at the very back of the platform. 2 is going to be on the turquoise button to the right of your platform. Again, don't think left, don't think right. When you see these 2 purple markers and you get one, waymarkers 1, waymarkers 2. There are no other spots. Ideal scenario is you don't stack these together. Again, stacking together will deal a significant amount of damage, but essentially just bring them to 1 and 2. If they're stacked together, it sucks, but there's something that's manageable. But being radials, and it's very hard to explain this to a lot of people sometimes a bad misplaced radial is better than the corrected bad misplaced meteor, i.e. you put it on top of your party. So, with that in mind, the last mechanic is acceleration bomb. This is a time bomb debuff during pyramid phase. When it ticks from 1 to 0, if you're doing anything which includes a GCD, OGCD, or movement, you will self-detonate, dealing 90% of your health and damage, and do the same to everyone around you. Again, once you get down to 3 seconds, don't do that next GCD or OGCD, sit there, and once it disappears, you can resume attacking. The caveat is meteors and acceleration bombs happen at the same time in pyramid phase. If you get both, always resolve the meteor first. Acceleration bombs suck, but they don't kill people. They take 90% of your health away. Radials can be devastating if misplaced. So always resolve the meteor before the acceleration bomb. And if you're naturally running away from the group, it means when your acceleration bomb goes off, it may only hit you. And a healer has benediction for a reason. And for anyone else listening, that's more or less all the explanations, other than you can fall off the sides of the arena, and we don't want you to do that. But these were quick explanations, and I will still be going over everything in the run itself. With that being said, make sure you've got your shell refreshed. Make sure you don't target Ozma on the way down. But I believe all of my main tanks are in groups 4, 5, and 6. Which means, leaders, I am going to throw you for a loop. Groups 1 and 4, northwest. Groups 2 and 5, northeast.
But is it 2 main tanks in group 4?
Did you just blow my mind? Please don't tell me that.
Yeah, I think 2 of us are, yeah.
Yeah, Saito and Audrey is in group 4.
Yeah, but you said that you were moving Audrey.
Yeah, wherever
away
I'm
from the
going.
party. Yeah.
1 second.
Well, as far as party is concerned, but yeah.
Audrey, you're in what group?
I'm in 4 with Sato.
4. Nero Arslan, I'm gonna ask you to drop and go to group 4. Audrey, over to my party. Ren, typical Ren. Did I not tell you the edge of the arena are dangerous?
Did they fall? Yeah.
So, Nero, if you could drop, I'm going to have you swap with group 4. Or any of the DPS in group 2.
What do you mean drop? Like drop off the map?
You're gonna switch into a different party.
I'll just drop out of the party.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're gonna drop out of the party and someone else is going to pick you up, and they're also here.
What side are they on?
I am not sure, but your character you'll see your new party. They're in group 4, so they'll be...
Looks like they're northwest.
Northwest, good. Now, I need to go do this. Player search, Audrey.
I am right in front of you.
Look. Right in front of your freaking Lala. How am I supposed to see that? Yeah, Audrey, can you throw up my way markers up for my party? Thanks. So, where I was at before, 1 and 4, northwest, 2 and 5, northeast, and 3 and 6 south. Support, you decide. No, Nero is not jumping off the edge. Pick up Nero group 4. Nero, you can also walk onto the ring to make so you can be very well seen. And if group 4 doesn't invite you, I will reprimand somebody.
I'm in.
That'll help me.
We're good.
With that being said, everything's good. Like I said, we got 30-something seconds to go. I mean, I gave you the countdown like 5 minutes ago. Like, I'm chill. I don't know about you guys. Northwest? There's a
Sato.
group 4.
Sato.
No.
Don't scare me like that. We've only got 17 seconds. It's terrifying. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Limit break. Tank. Go. Main tanks are the only one taking damage. Make sure they're healed appropriately. And keep them healthy. Addles, feints, and reprisals are a good time to use here, just so those don't deal as much damage. Ranged, you can move to the back of the platform, and melee, you'll start moving to the back of the platform as soon as Ozma starts changing shape. Now everyone wants to be at the back of that platform, and you're going to stay stacked together. The reason you're stacking together is you're soaking an auto together. Again, it is a randomized auto, so we all stay stacked together so nobody dies. Typical Black Mage being typical Black Mage, don't worry. After one more auto attack, you're going to get a knockback emanating from the turquoise button on your platform. Use the gold ring that encircles it to get knocked to the boss, or knockback mitigate. There you go. We're going to get 2 more of those auto attacks and you'll get your first black hole. 1 more. And everyone get to your button, and everybody on a button. No matter what, be on a turquoise button. And back to the boss. The main tanks are taking the heavy damage right now. Tanks, this is your longest tanking phase. You will be taking a lot of damage. The goal is to make sure you have mitigation for cube phase. Shades are up. I'll tell you what they are. They're all the same based on the platforms. So get off your platform. Main tanks wait for 1 more auto attack. Off your platforms now. And right back to the boss. Main tanks are still taking those autos. Heals up for anyone taking damage. Next time we see shades, we'll dodge the shade mechanic again, and then we'll dodge the boss mechanic. First, the shade. Getting to the back of the platform, hug the boss, or hug the shade. And then you're gonna move off the platform next. Off the platform now. One healer from each platform will go to the back of the platform. Everyone else, check for acceleration bombs. Disengage and take no action if you have one. Meteors out in 1 second. Bring them to 1 and 2. 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 Adjust to the left a little bit. And stack back up and focus the ads. Healers will stay spread. A little bit of shenanigans on my platform, but it looks okay. We are getting off the platform and checking for those acceleration bombs again. Back to the boss. There'll be a stack up marker. Whoever has Liquid LeBron in their party, get ready to rescue them when I ask. After one auto attack, black hole. To your buttons, to your buttons. Get ready. Rescue them. Sorry, a little late on that. Back to the boss, main tanks, heavy autos. Shades up. And we are getting up to the boss, switching up a little bit to avoid the point blank at the back. And then you're going to move to the back of the platform now. You're going to stay stacked as a group and make your way right back up to the boss. One auto attack and then meteors. 1 and 2 again. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
All the northwest.
Yep, away from the meteors, stack for the damage. Knockback mitigate if you need it. And then grab the ads. Stay stacked as you fight these ads. Remember to help other platforms as it may be needed. This is going to be holy, or this is going to be shooting star with the shades point. We are getting knocked to the boss. Stand on that gold ring and get knocked to the boss. Stay stacked for 2 auto attacks. After the second, you're free to move for black hole.
Hey Mark, what's the timing for sacking?
When you hear the noise, go for it.
When it starts to immediately change shape.
After that.
Everyone on a button, all buttons covered. And back to the boss. The main tank is taking heavy autos. Shades are up. And get off your platforms. Off your platforms ASAP. And then you're going to hug Ozma after. Hug Ozma. Main tanks to the right. Party to the left. Main tanks, you're going to prepare for those orbs. Mitigation, take them without leaving the platform. Everyone else, you get a stack up marker. This is going to be paired with holy knockback. Just make sure it doesn't knock you off the edge. Next time we see a shade, it's going to be with that same holy knockback. People that need to use their sacrifice plates still, you got time to do it before the boss actually dies. Shades are up, but that doesn't matter because the boss is not.
Yay!
Unfortunate, we did have a lot of deaths, but had a nice good run. We still got our fairy buff. We pulled at 69.
Any bodies on the arena?
I was hoping to get up earlier in that star phase to drop some more sack plates on that group to the right. But for everyone that has cleared after you get out of your cutscene, you can actually jump off the edge now if you're in the zone, and it actually takes you to South Platform. You don't die. You grab your treasure chest there, and once you eventually leave the instance, you can take the exit before you. It's the closest point to finish your storyline. But after that, you can, once you leave the instance, under achievements, you'll get your mount. Congrats on all the first clears and all the other clears, and granted tomorrow's Monday, but it's also holiday, so maybe we post another run too. But we will see what happens. I'm just glad people had fun, and by how quickly it filled up, seems like we needed more than one run today.
I wonder if
Thank
there's
you for
enough time-
hosting.
No
I
problem.
wonder if there's enough time